When I was in high school, I played drums in a metal band. We loved playing very heavy stuff. We played like Deicide, Cannibal Corpse, Napalm Death. I was really into heavy music and I was not into electronic music at all. But then someone was like, you should do some electronic music. And I thought it would be funny as a joke because what I knew is electronic music was really easy to make. It sucked. And I thought, hey, I'll just kind of do it as a joke. So I did a track and I realized a couple of things. I realized it was harder than I thought it was. It was more fun than I thought it was. And unlike playing in a band with like flaky bandmates that would like never turn up, you could just kind of do it by yourself. And over the years, I kind of did more and more, and now I'm probably more known for electronic music than I am for anything else. So the moral of the story is sometimes you have an idea about something and the idea of that thing is not actually accurate until you dive into that thing yourself, because we spend a lot of time deciding about things we like by trying them, but we decide about the things we don't like usually by not trying them. And so I decided to buy a car that I don't like. Now, I have driven this model car before, as has my good friend Martin over here.
This is like the veganism of cars.
Is it?
You've gone vegetarian.
Have I?
I don't know, have you?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But I think this car in our current era is probably the most overrated car.
Underrated car.
Underrated?
Both. Wouldn't you say?
It's overrated and underrated. They're all over the internet, but we haven't touched them because we don't like them.
Well, we do like them, but we also don't. See, over and underrated.
Yes.
Yep.
But we've never been interested in getting one because, well, I haven't because I don't like them. Because I drove one and I was like, this sucks. Like legit, like what's all the hype?
Yeah. What's all the hype?
Because they legitimately suck, right?
Yeah.
Yet everyone's driving them around.
Yeah.
And I think they think they're good.
Though they must. They bought them.
But do you have to like something because you bought it? Because I bought it because I didn't like it.
Well, most people buy them and go, well, I just spent tons of money, so maybe I better like it. All these things we're going to find out.
We're going to find out. We're going to find out. So the moral of the story is I did this with the Honda S2000 as well. Everyone's like, Hondas suck. Why are they saying that? Because they do, don't they? A lot of the time they do. A lot of the time they do.
They got good engines.
Sometimes they don't. But the reason that some people say Hondas suck is because they suck. And the reason that other people say they like them is because they've made one that they like. But I bought a Honda S2000 and you know what I thought? This sucks. You know, but I drove it around, started working on it a bit, and then I was like, actually, this is pretty cool. I understand it now. I actually get it. So now I have a newfound respect for them. I thought they sucked because they kind of do, but they don't suck as much as I thought because I actually tried it. So anyway, I'm doing that again. I'm going to go and get the most overrated car of our generation.
Underrated car. Last time he bought himself a car, I chose to sit it out because I had an MR2 to work on. This time I'm choosing to sit it down, just for a little bit, because I've been spending a lot of time standing up working on an MR2, which I'm really hoping he hasn't bought an MR2. Actually, I know for a fact he hasn't. He's not that crazy. He's bought one of these.
Hi, everyone. I bought a BRZ.
How's it feel?
It feels as you would expect.
Do you love it?
We're going to find out, Martin.
The BRZ is Subaru's version of the jointly made Toyota 86 or FRS, a budget sports car loved by teenagers, vloggers and automotive journalists. It's powered by a 2-litre naturally aspirated 4-cylinder boxer engine that's been criticised for not making enough power and emits a sound not too dissimilar to a rabbit vomiting after a big night out on the carrots. There's no turbo, which may be a costing or warranty issue, or maybe it's just a homage to the original Toyota AE86, which is all about the purity. The Subaru version does have some differences to the Toyota 86, but they're basically the same cat wearing a different pair of jeans with a different coloured hat. Back in 2012 when these came out, there was so much hype. This was the MX-5 without a hairbrush for a new generation of automotive enthusiasts. It won Car of the Year, Best Driver's Car, Best Performance Car, Funnest Car, and as such, just like the early Subaru engines, the aftermarket scene exploded, which means there are so many modifications available for this platform.
It's probably one of the most widely reviewed and vlogged cars on the Interballs.
Yeah.
They came out like almost 10 years ago now. What's all the fuss about? Martin and I drove one in the UAE when we were over there for Fast and Furious 7.
Yep.
We thought they were slow and boring.
Yep. It was also 50 degrees outside.
It was
And
very
they were
hot.
auto.
And
they
they
had
were
crappy
automatic.
tyres.
The other time we drove one was when we did a tyres versus coilover test on the track. And I just remember thinking, why would you buy one of these over an RX-7, a Skyline,
all the heroes.
a Supra, a 180SX, a GTIR, pretty much anything. So now we're going to find out.
Here's where I think this is an interesting car. So, like you said, it was built in the last 10 years. So that means, you know, when you buy it, you get warranty. You can get it on finance, which is huge. You can't go and get finance for an old RX-7 as easily as you can on one of these.
That's true.
Company cars, like all that stuff comes into play. You know, people who don't have families and stuff, they've got to put kids all through them. Like, you know, you don't need the back seats.
Yeah.
People like sports cars. They do handle well. They are known for that. They're known for having good handling. I mean, Subarus are known for having good handling and all-wheel drive, but this is the only Subaru that's come out in the last, 20 years or so that hasn't had four-wheel drive.
But have you noticed that everyone that owns one of these, what do they always say about them?
Oh, the handling's great.
They handle so well. That's what people with slow cars say. So you will be happy to know, of course, this was the cheapest blue BRZ that I could find for sale in Sydney. There was one that was cheaper, that was blue. It had mud flaps on it and kind of knobbly tyres, and all the photos of it were like on a dirt track. So, and it was also not in Sydney, it was like 500 k's away. So this here was the cheapest blue BRZ in Sydney. And it was also one of the only BRZs that wasn't covered in Mighty Car Mods and Chop stickers. So when I was looking on car sales, there were so many that had, and I was just like, this is cool, but a lot of them had mods already, and I wanted to get one that was completely stock. This is not only completely stock, it's had all the services done by Subaru. Like, it's got a full service history. The previous owner kept meticulous records. It came with a folder of every single thing that had been done to it. So I rang the guy that was selling it and I said, is there anything that you can tell me about this car that if I came and saw it in person would be worrying? You know, something that's going to save my time coming all of that way. And he's like, no, it's all cool. It's all fine. And then he said, your voice sounds really familiar. Are you the guy from Mighty Car Mods? And I went, yeah. And he's like, oh, wow, that's cool. So we had a bit of a chat about the car and then we hung up. Anyway, he called me about 10 minutes later and he said, I just kind of worked out that if I don't tell you this, you're going to find out anyway. It actually has had some very basic mods. It's had an exhaust. And I took that off and have sold it, but other than that, it's completely stock. So that's what it was. So it is completely stock now. It's got some tyres on it. That's it. So full service history. What it also came with, which I'll show you in a second, is some weird... Actually, I'll show you in a second. Martin, do your thing and let me show the people what it came with.
In case you hadn't had that conversation, you know it's a dead giveaway that it's had mods? The outline of where all the stickers are. Did you see this?
What?
Perrin intakes, NVIDIA exhaust, like the sticker's been removed so that it looks stock, but all that stuff's been on it.
Oh, seedy history.
That's a good thing to look out for. I mean, normally you're in the engine bay looking for like different coloured paint and you're looking for bits of black trim that's got overspray on it if a panel shop hasn't been careful about how they've repainted it, or like different obvious blends where panels have been hit, but like that's a good giveaway too. Oh, it's totally stock, but it's got, removed stickers is kind of an easy one as well.
Now, Martin, from what I understand, this is the intake over here.
Yep.
We're sucking in a little bit of noise.
Yep.
We're sucking in a little bit of air.
Yep.
But then over here, we're diverting some of that down and inside the car.
Oh, does it have one of those? A sound actor?
And it came with a TRD sound changer. Can someone tell me what the that is? What do you do with that?
I was wondering what the noise is when you rev this. It makes a weird noise. It must be that.
Well, I imagine
It
that
sounds
what you
like a
do
leak.
is that you insert this in and it's got different valves so that you get different sound. Is that really a thing? Is that a thing, Martin?
Does that really go down in the cabin? Are they that desperate for the noise? They are. Wow, it goes down into the footwell or something. Maybe, I mean, I guess that's where it goes. Someone will tell us.
Anyway, that's what we know. We don't know yet because we're finding out. So there it is. It's a 2013 model. It was the cheapest blue BRZ that I could find in Sydney. It was $17,000. New, I think these were around $40,000, so that's a pretty big hit.
BRZs are the fancy ones, aren't they? Like you get a base model 86 and then there's like a GTS 86 and somewhere in between mixed up with those is BRZ, which is like the slightly more luxury, comfy one with a better entertainment system.
But
and then
it seems that in the land of the 86 and the BRZ, which is a pretty exciting place to be, it seems that there's a bit of BRZ, like they think that they're better.
Right. Well, I know that if you buy an 86, there's panels that have Subaru logo stamped in them. Right, my understanding is Subaru actually made these. Toyota gave a bunch of tech and a bunch of gearboxes and a bunch of other stuff and said, there you go. And then Subaru bolted them together using an FA or an FB20, which is like a newer generation flat four than the EJs you find in all the WRXs. People have done some pretty incredible things with these. There's also this kind of engine in the later model WRXs and people are turning them up and making power. But what's missing from this? A turbo. Where's the turbo? The engine is the same. The turbo ones exist, but they don't come out turbo. They've been talking about it lately, and maybe that's happening, I don't know, but these ones never did. And it was always the question.
I'm not going to turbocharge it. You can quote me on this later. I'm not going to turbocharge it. Because where's the purity, Martin? Where's the purity in a disgusting turbocharger?
Take it back.
Where is the purity, Martin? There's no purity. This car is meant to be a pure driver's car. All right. First time in a BRZ, first impressions.
It's got a bit of an S15 vibe, doesn't it?
It does.
Like how low you sit to the ground and the fact that your seat and your feet are only this far in distance different. It is comfy, like in terms of nice spots for your arms to sit, and it's good for tall people. Except
same seats as your MR2, mate.
No one could go in the back.
No. Not if they had legs.
No, if you have someone to go in the back, I have to be basically crushed against.
They still can't go in the back. There's that much room in the back.
So maybe you could get a kid in there, maybe. Even then it'd be a bit sketchy. This is a two-person car. Just happens to have back seats, right?
It's got like keyless start, which is cool, and push-button start, which people seem to like.
It's high-waisted, isn't it? Like our shoulders are lower than the doors.
Really nice interior. I like all this. It's really simple. Big knob, big button. That's good.
Modern aircon and climate and stuff.
Because all this stuff is going to change. Like with electric cars, you won't get buttons anymore.
Don't need it.
You'll just have a big screen and
Tesla
just
style.
touch all the stuff that you need to touch. Let's hit it, Martin.
The 6-speed gear knob is the same as what I have in Supergrams. And the same of STIs of this era, but this is a different gearbox. It's not like built as tough as those 6 speeds.
All right, BRZ performance.
Was your foot flat?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Is there something under the pedal?
No. I think that's how fast it is, dude. I think.
Really?
Hold on, I'll try again. I'll actually go the foot to the floor. It's against the metal.
Sticks good, isn't it? And of course the back's going to stick good if it can't ungrip itself. Is that it?
That's it, yeah. Get ready for BRZ's VTEC. BTEC. Foots to the floor.
BTEC.
30 kilometres an hour.
So you're not getting anywhere near
40 kilometres an hour. 50 kilometres an hour.
That was exhilarating. Oh wow, you're legitimately doing 56 k's an hour.
Yeah.
Cool.
So what do you think, Martin?
Thrilling. I'm thrilled. Why do people buy these?
It handles well, doesn't it? No, it does. I know we said that cars that are slow handle well because they don't go fast enough to not handle, but like second gear, foot to the floor, that's to the floor. Sounds awful, doesn't it? That sound.
What is that? What is that noise? It sounds like a vacuum leak. I mean, that's kind of what it is, right? Oh, look, it's 7,000.
At 7,000 RPM, there's a little.
Uh,
It's not quite a. It's more a.
Oh, something's happening.
This is like VTEC, but without the VTEC, isn't it?
Yeah. It's all the lag, none of the boost, none of the cam change.
I guess it's not a really fast street car, but it's a car to drive around in.
You know when you really need to sneeze?
Yes.
And you're like, but you never actually get the sneeze.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like you're just always like, just go, I'm gonna sneeze, and it's like, but it doesn't ever sneeze.
Yes.
You know, you go, this is awesome. You just go, there's so much potential in this sneeze.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm at.
There's a Yaris behind us that's got a little body kit on it. I reckon that might be faster. Like, I actually do think it might be faster. But the car's potential,
it does. Yeah.
Look, here's the thing.
I've been in it for 4 minutes. I actually like it. It's a really nice place to be. Forget that it has to be fast.
Exactly.
Forget that fast cars are meant to be fast. No, just forget that for a second.
Cars. No, forget that sports cars that are sporty and two-door and coupé and handle well are supposed to be fast.
Forget all that.
Forget it.
What an awesome car. Isn't it? Feels great, comfy.
Yeah, but all
everything's
cars,
where it meant to
cars
be.
that are 6 or 7 years old are like this. Even that Yaris behind us is like this on the inside.
Really?
Well, not quite as sporty, but it's comfy and there's aircon and a clock.
Foot to the floor.
Oh, there's a little... You get the little... Whoop. Just the little one. Whoop.
Okay, Martin, so it's not a fast street car, it's not a race car, it's not a track car.
What is it? All the BRZ and 86 owners are going to tell us. Do you own one of these? Does your mate's mate own one? Have you been in one?
I know what it is, Martin.
What is it?
It's a skid car.
This is a skid.
A skid car. That's what they do. That's what they use them for. They do skids in them.
No, they don't. Who
They
does?
do.
Who does?
That's what BRZ owners do.
Do they?
They vlog and go, hey guys, I'm going to do a wide body kit and a turbocharger, but until then, I'm doing a skid. And then they go, why don't we go and do some skids?
We'll try and skid it.
We know it's not fast.
Yeah.
We know that. Let's
Yeah.
not even, let's yawn. Oh, don't even need to talk about that. It's not fast.
No.
It does handle well.
Sure.
Does it skid well? Can you get a totally stock one and do a mad skid in it?
Like actually drift it, like ping
Like
it off
hold
the
a sustained skid.
sustained skid, smoke the whole bit.
Yeah. Should we go do that?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Skid time. Oh, really, really easy to control. Really, really easy to control. Wow, that feels great. That felt amazing. Forget everything I've said so far. Straight out of the box, this BRZ feels so good doing a skid. It handles great, it's engaging, and most importantly, it's got something that so many cars these days are lacking. It's really fun. Yes, the legit JDM heroes of the 90s will always have a special place in our collective hearts. But if you're looking at getting into track days, your first mods, or just some smoky fun in a rear-wheel drive Japanese car that's actually affordable, then this may well be the car for you. Really impressive. Just to get a gauge,
Yeah.
this is your first skid
Yep.
in a stock BRZ.
Yeah.
Let's just see what happens.
All right, here we go. Oh, yes! Oh my god! It just loves... That's amazing. It's got the power to actually keep him spinning. It's so precise.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. Dude, that's so controllable.
And it feels incredible. Wow. Isn't that awesome?
It's impressive, is what it is. Because these are known as being a bit underpowered.
Everyone says they're underpowered, they've got no power. And maybe they are underpowered, you know, like if you turn around here and you just belt it in first gear and then second gear, and then just to test the acceleration.
Oh, did you hang in second yet? That's pretty cool. Too fun. Yeah, it doesn't have enough balls for second gear skids, does
But
it?
if you accelerate in first, and then
Wow, okay.
nothing there. Nothing there.
Yeah.
But brakes, exceptional.
Yeah, oh, you get that face pull. You
Yeah,
know, you feel like your face is going to fall off.
So, I mean, like, I bought this car because I don't like it. I told you that, you know, like I think
Yeah.
they're overhyped, over whatever.
Yep.
And I like kind of getting involved in things that I don't like just to
Yeah.
experience it.
Yep.
But I'm really impressed.
I'm impressed, yeah. I mean, like doing circles is how often you're actually doing it on the street. I mean, never, but it's impressive that it can do it. It's geared right for it, and it's got enough top end to actually keep them spinning.
That's amazing.
And a good diff.
Yeah.
You can read all the reviews you like and watch 100 videos, but until you get behind the wheel of a car yourself, you're never really going to know what it's like. This is slow compared to every single car in our garage, but with that said, it's a lot of fun. This BRZ, it's alright with me.
Alright, I ain't no car reviewer, but
Me
here's
neither.
the 10-second version. It is slow relative to sports cars. It handles really nice. I think it kind of looks good. There's a few bits that do look like robot vomit. Interior is really nice, and probably a really good platform to have a bit of fun at a track, and it does do a good skid.
A lot of car for the money too. These are fairly cheap for entry level if you consider two-door sports cars everywhere that you can buy new off the shelf today. Rear-wheel drive, front engine.
What's interesting about that, price of these going down, price of Silvias going up. So around 15 grand is what it would cost you now to get a Silvia or a 180SX, and you can get the Toyota's version of these for like 13 or 14. So you're now going, do you get a 1991 model JDM car, or do you get like a 2013, 14, 15 BRZ or an 86?
The only thing that's crazy though is 2 litre modern engine.
Yes.
And I reckon a 25-year-old 1 litre 4-cylinder, so half the capacity, would beat this.
Really?
I reckon Super Turbo would smash this.
Yeah, but it
In
doesn't
like
have
challenges, races, whatever.
Really?
Okay, it won't do a rear-wheel drive drift, but I reckon even burnouts, man. It's.
You reckon Super Turbo would
I
be
reckon Super, and that's saying something. That's an economy hatchback, really. 25 years old. This is new, and I reckon the Super Turbo would beat it.
Well, maybe what we do, because I know that we've got some mods for this,
Yeah.
right? Maybe before we do anything, why don't we do a Super Turbo BRZ battle? Just because that's weird, and I've never seen that on the internet
We
before.
have the cars, so we should do it.
All right, cool. Okay, next time on Mighty Car Mods, the BRZ will go to battle with the Super Turbo. That's a weird battle.
That's
but
right.
It's
It's
kind
a
of
battle
cool.
no one asked for, but that's the best reason to do it. Are we driving this, or are we going to walk or scooter or something?
Let's take the Golf or Super Gramps or anything.